Hi, I'm Sean Irvin, the Sioux Falls Planning Commission Chair, and you're about to watch the Sioux Falls Planning Commission Planning Preview coming up for, I believe it's April 1st, and it is not April Fool's Day for us. It'll be a great meeting, and we hope you can all join us, and we welcome public input, and we do have a section at the end of our agenda for people that just want to speak to an item that may not be on our agenda, and we'd love to hear from you for that too. Today I have with me Jason Bieber. Welcome, Jason. How are you doing?
Great, doing great. Thanks for having me.
And you're with the Planning and Development Services and doing a great job coordinating with us, and we really do appreciate that every day.
Great, thank you.
And our agenda is a pretty light agenda this time, but we are going to cover about 5 items today, and then we have a little bit extra thing we want to talk about at the end about a special feature that the city is introducing, right?
Absolutely, great program.
Well, looks like the first item on our agenda, just to jump into it, is a rezoning from C2 neighborhood commercial and RT2 residential to the C2 Commercial Neighborhood Streetcar District at 411 West 12th Street. That must be just south of Daylight Donuts.
Yeah.
Favorite spot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So this parcel, it's actually right behind a building that fronts Minnesota Avenue. And then there's a parcel behind that that's kind of split zoned. The left half is zoned that RT2 and the right half is zoned C2. And then everything around it is the church parking lot. Mm-hmm. And so the owner of the building that fronts Minnesota actually wants to then construct another building on this one, a multi-tenant building, actually put a couple apartments above it, which will kind of be a good use because it'll be right close to the downtown area and right off of Minnesota Avenue. So.
And there's a lot of multifamily already in that area,
Yes.
So that may make a lot of sense just to kind of coordinate and help to keep things kind of fairly consistent in that neighborhood, right?
Absolutely. Should be a pretty good fit with everything going on around there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that sounds great. Looks like our next item is a rezoning from RS Single Family Suburban to RD1 Twin Home Duplex at 5605 Southwest Wind. That must be just north and east of the 69th and Southeastern Roundabout.
Yes, the
lots
dreaded
going on
roundabout
down there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the areas that, as we've seen, has really grown quite a bit in the last 3, 4, 5 years. It seems like we have something on the agenda every other month from there. This one is you kind of drive south on 57th Street, south of 57th Street on the southeastern, and you look off to the east. You see kind of a lot of twin homes that back up to southeastern. As you guys know, that's a pretty heavily trafficked area. It's an arterial street, so typically you don't have single family backing up to that. This area is a little farther south, as you indicated, close to the roundabout, but they're looking to do that similar concept. Instead of doing single family homes backing up to southeastern, they want to change these into twin homes. And so they'd be on that corner of the collector that's going into the development, and then southeastern running north and south to the west. So makes a lot of sense to have those kind of twin homes or townhomes backing straight up to the arterial street of Southeastern Avenue.
And we talked last month about that. It's good planning to have those things that have maybe a little bit higher density per acre and have those closer to the arterials, and this would meet that kind of typical good practice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably something they should have zoned it from the beginning along that arterial, because as you know, and the rest of the Planning Commission knows, but that RD1 zoning district would allow twin homes, but you could also do single family there if you wanted to, but it gives you that option instead of maybe just limiting yourself to single family when you're adjacent to those arterial streets.
Nope, that makes sense. Looks like the next one's a conditional use permit for on-sale alcohol at 405 North Kiwanis Avenue. Both of these next two are both that, and we only look at those if it's within 500 feet of a sensitive use. Yep. As we're considering these things, what is a typical sensitive use that would toggle that requirement?
Yeah, typically when we have these, we see them within a certain 500 feet of single family or twin homes. This area, if you've ever been up there, is really an industrial commercial area, so it's pretty odd to have a sensitive land use within 500 feet, but there is a church that's within that buffer. And that would also be included within that 500-foot sensitive land use area. Right. So this one's a little bit different. Like I said, it seems like we get the ones that are on 41st, Minnesota, 12th. where you have residential that's backs pretty much right up to these commercial uses. This one really is just in the middle of an industrial area that there's not any of those residential concerns for us.
Right.
However, there is that church, so the applicant would.
And this address is right near that Kiwanis and 5th Street intersection.
Right south of that gas station on the west side. And one of the good things about this one is it's a property that's a little tired. So with this new use and them, putting some money into it, it's something that we can have them do some parking that looks a little better, have some landscaping along Kiwanis Avenue. So it's really an opportunity for us also to maybe start getting some of those redevelopments and
upgrade
areas.
The appearance a little bit.
It's going to look a little different because if you've been up there, like I said, you don't see a lot of that, but you got to start somewhere, and it's kind of one of those places for us to get a property and hopefully then continue that as we move on to the forward in the future to continue that redevelopment and getting that landscaping along Kiwanis Avenue so you don't have concrete right up to the street.
Yep, and that's all part of advanced planning.
Yes, absolutely.
Looks like the next conditional use permit is for something similar at 2417 East 10th Street. This must be just west of 229. That's another area that's seeing a little bit of regrowth.
Yes. Yep, just west of 229, actually just west of where they just tore down the old stoplight lounge there. There's an existing strip center. I think it has the Aaron Rental, and then this tenant space was the old Pizza Man location, I believe. There's already an existing casino in there. The applicant's looking at just kind of doing another one. So.
Okay. So a pretty consistent type of use, and so that really works well with our kind of intention with how we'd like to plan things.
Yeah, it's one of those retail uses, and as you know, we deal with on-sale alcohol, so that includes bars and everything, not specifically casinos, but these areas of 12th and 41st in Minnesota, those small little tenant areas typically have small uses. Casinos are pretty small uses, so they can kind of fit into some of those real small tenant areas. So.
Sure. Makes sense. Looks like our next one is a plan unit development initial development plan amendment, which is always a mouthful, but looks like it is at 100 North Crone Place. People probably don't recognize the name of that street, but that's on the old School for the Deaf campus, right?
Correct. This building is actually sandwiched between. If you've seen that campus now, it's starting to change, and in the near future, it'll probably look a lot different. But this is sandwiched between the new Taco John Strip Center on would be the west side, and then the Empowerment campus that's on the east side. So it is the old School for the Deaf, but it's kind of that middle building that fronts 12th Street. The applicant is just looking at taking that, if it's a 3-story building, and in the second and third floor, doing some apartments above there. So it wasn't something that we currently had on the plan, on the initial development plan amendment. So we wanted them to come back and kind of get residential above the first story.
Right.
Nothing that seems like a good use to kind of change that into getting people there, getting office uses, getting, the Empowerment campuses, church, daycare. So it's really all kind of goes together. So
blended mixed uses have proven pretty effective in a lot of areas, and we've had some for years and years, but seems like now that's really catching on and becoming more and more popular for developer requests, right? Yeah,
it's just nice. I mean, you guys have seen that. It's just a big campus. It's nice to be able to reuse that instead of just tearing everything down. So it's kind of been a good partnership from all three of those users. So,
Okay. It looks like the last one on our agenda is the Downtown PUD Initial Development Plan Amendment. Another amendment to an initial development plan. Probably updating it. What was the last time that we updated that one?
Yeah, I think we first did the initial development plan for the Downtown PUD. As you know, that one's a little different because there's so many things that already are existing, so it's a huge animal. So really, it's pretty difficult to have applicants from these businesses do it because I can't even imagine how many business owners and stuff there are. So it's really a development plan that the city kind of took on, and we originally did it in 2015. Well, and citizens at home know, lots changed downtown in 5 years?
Right.
I mean, think about it. And really what's going to change in the future. So we're coming back with just this 5 years kind of update to get everything to what we know. what's existing, and just really update it. No major changes. You know, we have to include the Sioux Steel site, the Cascades, the parking ramps. I mean, the new Premier Bank Card building. So there's just a lot of stuff that we need to include that wasn't included on the original because we didn't know about it 5 years ago.
Right.
So.
And let's talk just a minute about initial development plans. I know that we do a lot of those plans to try and help developers or people that are organizing, like the city of organizing the downtown, trying to give people an anticipation of what might go here, what kind of standards might be expected, and things that are beyond just kind of zoning matters and more about trying to plan for signage and a lot of different things. Can you speak to that for just a minute?
Yeah, you kind of nailed it on the head there. Well, the big one with downtown is if we didn't have a planned unit development and we didn't have an initial development plan, essentially the zoning ordinance would require everybody to have parking on their own site. Well, you guys have been downtown. A lot of places don't have on-site parking because they're not supposed to in the downtown area. We're supposed to have the parking ramps and areas of parking kind of off the main drag. So really, that's one of the big reasons why we need to do these is make sure we have enough parking for all the businesses downtown and really not require businesses to put parking on site if they can't, because people walk and that's kind of how it is, you know.
Right, and we don't want downtown to become a big parking lot with a smattering of buildings. We really want it to be a little more dense than that. And so that's where a lot of that planning comes in.
Absolutely, and it works out well for those areas. But we do want to do these initial development plans because you're right. We want to give the residents of Sioux Falls, business owners, an idea of what the future could be for this, or what we have for excess of parking, or what we have for signage in this area. So.
Right, and even if citizens want to see that initial development plan, they can come down to the city and request a copy of that, and I'm sure the city would be happy to provide them a copy.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, very good. Well, that's the end of our agenda, but don't leave us yet. We'll come back right after a short break and talk a little bit about the latest program of interface with the city and some of what the Neighborhood Connect plan really does for you. So come back and hear a little bit about that. Thanks.
A sump pump can be your first line of defense against getting water in your basement.
Don't wait until it's too late to verify your sump pump is working properly. Make sure your hose discharges into your yard away from your house or into a stormwater or sump pump collection system. Never discharge into a sink, toilet, shower, or floor drain. Also, consider a backup system in case your home loses power. For more information, go to the city's website at siouxfalls.org/sump pump.
Hi, you're back from our break, and we were talking about planning preview, but now we're shifting to a different topic. The city has introduced a new program called Neighborhood Connect. I've got Jason Bieber still with me. Hi, Jason. We're going to talk a little bit about this Neighborhood Connect program that the city is doing. Some pretty exciting stuff to allow people a little more access to the data that you have on record. It improves access to, I believe, plan data, permit data, and code access to the city. And can you tell us a little bit about how that benefits our citizens?
Yeah, it's something we're really excited about. It's kind of funny because I've been working on trying to do some sort of a neighborhood website to better inform people for the last 7 years. So it's really a project that we've been working on, and it's had different ways that we were thinking about doing it. And really in the last year, we really ramped up and found a program that can really do what we wanted it to do. Really what we wanted to do is not change how we notify people. I mean, we still want to do the letters. We still want to do the notice of hearing in the paper. We still want to do the signs because we realize that there's people that don't like to look on the computer. They like that kind of an aspect, but we also wanted to reach that whole new level of people that want to get notifications via the computer, the internet, that kind of stuff. So really we developed this Neighborhood Connect to give people an idea what's going on in their neighborhood. And we really wanted to start it out a little smaller with the data that our department specifically controls. And really it's just the start of it. And right now we've kind of just some examples of the data that we've put on there is, like rezonings, annexations, conditional uses, pretty much everything that we talked about in the first half of the program. All of those applications will be on there. Permits, commercial building permits, residential permits. Maybe your neighbor's doing a bunch of work at his house and you're like, I wonder if he's got a permit for that.
Or you can go look that up yourself.
Absolutely,
okay.
that's
Nice.
what this is for.
Yep.
And then also code cases, because we get a lot of complaints on specifically our two big ones. Grass in the summer. My neighbor's not mowing his grass. Well, you can see if that complaint's been completed or if it's in the system. Snow is the other one in the winter. So really be able to see those code cases within your neighborhood, within the city, wherever you want to learn.
Sure, and you started to mention that people can get on and kind of be notified in a little bit different way.
Yes.
I think you can actually kind of select a specific neighborhood or series of blocks, and the city will, I believe it's once a week, notify you if there's anything new within that zone. Is that correct?
Yeah. The beauty of this, and this is really why maybe it took a little longer than what we anticipated, we wanted a way for people to customize their notifications, what they want to learn about within their neighborhood, maybe within the city, maybe within the northeast part. And so we really tried to get a program that would let you control, put you in the driver's seat to be able to find out what you want to do. So really, the beauty of this program is it starts out where we kind of had a couple of just base maps, city council districts, so you could select if you want to know everything in the Northwest District, Central District. We also had the historic districts because we know a lot of the historic districts have quite a big neighborhood associations, and they're really more of a close-knit community. And they want to know what's going on in there. And then the other beauty, as you indicated, is customizing it. So for myself, I could go to my address, select my address, and then it starts out as a quarter mile. That's kind of the standard buffer. But you have the ability to take it down to 100 feet or up to 5 miles. And that'll put your buffer around your house, and you can learn about anything with what you've set as the distance that you want to learn away. And the best part is you can select, do you want to learn about stuff from the past 6 months, the past 3 months, the past week, past day? And then the other beauty is you can actually sign up for alerts for anything in the future. And as you indicated, you can sign up for alerts within that buffer area. So anything that comes, if we get a permit, we get a plan, and then we enter that into our software, it instantaneously is going to show up in there. It's going to send you an alert. You can customize how you want to get your alerts. Do you want to get them? You can do by the day. You could get alerts each day. You could do it by the week, as you indicated, or by the month.
Okay.
And you can either, if you sign up for one of those, it's easy to, if you're like, man, this is too much, it's easy to change it or to eliminate it. So some people may want to know every day what's going on in this large area. If you're selecting a smaller area within your neighborhood, you're probably more of the weekly or monthly because you're not going to probably
see as
get
much
as much activity. So that's really the beauty. It's customizing it to what you want to learn and what you want to know about.
Sounds like it'll be a really nice benefit for people to kind of be in the know about what's going on.
Yeah. And it's going to populate on the map. It's going to give you a little circle. You click on that circle, and it'll take you into what we call our citizen self-service and give you more information on the project, what's going on there, who's the contractor, the applicant, and stuff.
So this really gives you the chance to bypass having to go down to the city or give the city a call to ask a question. If you want to, you can still do those things, but this would allow you to say, hey, midnight, I just want to look up what I want to know, and there it is.
Yeah, typically what we see, and this is one of the other reasons why we really like it. So this with Planning Commission, they're required applicants to post signs within 10 days. Well, 10 days before the meeting is usually about 2 weeks after we've gotten the application. So if they don't post till 10 days before the meeting, people are like, oh, what's going on here? And we only got 10 days to do it. Well, now, if you've signed up for Neighborhood Connect, as soon as we got that application on deadline day and we've entered it, it's going to show up that you can click on it and see a small idea of what's going on in your neighborhood. You'll see it instantaneously. So it really gives the notification a little bit, more 2 weeks closer, or you'll get it earlier. So
I looked at some of that data. It looks like it not just gives you where the location is, and it also gives you a lot of the other pertinent information about current zoning, proposed zoning, all those kinds of things pop up as kind of an information window when you look at these tagged moments on the map, right? And it's all really map oriented.
It's the part, because you've seen these sometimes when we do these big chunks of land. It's hard to figure out exactly where they are because you're doing huge acres, 100 acres or whatever the case. And that's really, here's kind of where it's going. Here's a basic description, and we pretty much have on there whatever we're allowed to give by law out to people. And if you still have questions, you got an extra 2 weeks or so to call us and ask us questions, or maybe you have concerns and we can start to get those neighborhood meetings set up and things like that. So
it's really, this is much more of a real-time kind of thing. You can see, like you said, whether it's a building permit and you want to see what they're doing in that project, it'll be able to tell you some of that. So you at least are a little bit informed before you do visit the city.
Yeah, and it's a little selfish from us because part of it we're hoping it'll cut down some of our calls because people can understand and see what's going on, or see my neighbors. A lot of times we'll get calls, my neighbor's doing work. I don't think he has a permit because I don't see the card in the window. Well, sometimes people forget to put the cards.
Right.
Well, now you could go and say, oh, okay, well, here's the permit that my neighbor just got yesterday. So part of that can help on that aspect of it. So,
and I know there's been the existing kind of land management software the city has been using for a long time now. How does this incorporate kind of the use of that and maybe help more users find that?
Yeah, and I don't want to take the quote from Holly Carpenter, who's one of our IT analysts, who's been amazing and really made this project a reality, to be honest with you. As I said, 7 years to work on something. Really, the main reason why we were able to move forward with this in the last year and make this thing a reality is because our existing land management software, EnerGov, actually purchased this program from a different company.
Oh, okay.
And so the beauty of it, as you indicated, this is just another cog in our entire land management system. And as Holly put it best, this really completes the circle of our land management system, because we have EnerGov for us, for the city of Sioux Falls. That's where we put in all the permit information, issue permits. It's the back end. We have the citizen self-service, and that's really for the contractors. That's the program that works through EnerGov, that you can apply for permits online as a contractor, see where your permits are. And this Neighborhood Connect is kind of that third wheel. This is for the residents of Sioux Falls. This is for them to see what's going on in their neighborhood. So it really completes that circle. We've now have a program for everybody that we need to serve. So
sure. Well, it sounds like a lot of really great things happening there. Sounds like it'll give people a lot better access if they choose to do an electronic interface. Can you tell us a little bit more about how they can find this when they're trying to search or however? Absolutely.
So right now, which is great, so you go to www.siouxfalls.org, and it's actually our main tile right now on the main page. Otherwise, you go to www.siouxfalls.org/planning, and you can get to it that way. And I just want to say that, this is kind of the beauty of this program. This is the start of it. We wanted to start small, but we're dreaming of having any permits and stuff that we have in EnerGov. So other departments like fire, like parks, like engineering. That stuff, as we keep moving, we can incorporate all that into this program. And the beauty is we're already entering all that information, us as staff. It doesn't take us any more staff time. That information that's going on Neighborhood Connect is already stuff we have to do. So it's already just pulling it in. So that's really the beauty. It doesn't take us any more staff time to manage this system. Okay.
Efficiency. We love that.
Great.
You bet. You bet. So Neighborhood Connect is the actual term that's used. So they could even just search for that. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Neighborhood Connect in quotes, and they'll probably be led right to the page where that is, right?
Yep. Absolutely, and we're working. We launched it on May 5th. March 5th. We're still working on getting some kind of training videos out there to help people with it and give them a little more information. So if you got questions, give us a call in the planning department and hopefully we can help you through it. So
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you, Jason. Thank you for joining us. That's the end of our show today. We'd love to hear from you. Give the city a call if you have any questions or come to the Planning Commission meeting, and we'd love to hear from you on any of our items today or just to hear some thoughts that you have about the things the Planning Commission should be thinking about and focused on, and we'd love to hear your comments. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.